They tie the game up 2-2.
Some drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse.
Wow.
5 seconds to go. Find Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls off. And Arizona State wins it. Edwards pulls off. And buries the block.
Daniels takes the shot for Kirby.
Oops. Welcome into Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I forgot my hat today. I went to spring practice and forgot my beautiful Pitchfork hat, but that's okay. Practice just got done a little bit late, but hey, you know what? Such is life. And I am here, doing the show, hanging out. And yes, I am Michael Kirton. So ladies and gentlemen, here on Pitchfork Lunch at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly. Oh, wow. Almost slipped up there. The artist formerly known as the Twitter. And you can see the show live there. My IG, michael.kiratino.5, and also YouTube. Guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 on YouTube, at MVC005 on YouTube. You miss interviews, you miss clips like the one you just missed, in which I'm going to play again for you because I want to mention this young man who, again, has grown from last year, Keontae Bradley, who is a defensive back. Obviously, you saw that there in the battles and the challenges, a little one-on-one, and he got the best of it there. He got the best of it there and was able to get the interception. So, if you miss clips like that, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You missed a ton of interviews. You Pitchfork Lunchers, you know this. So it's at MVC005 on YouTube. Again, I forgot my Pitchfork hat. I feel like I went to that school down south and I just, overlook and forget things and, blow through hundreds of millions of dollars and need a new president and have to cut stuff now because, again, you don't really want to, just pile on a damaged person's thing issue, but it's U of A. Are you surprised, Sun Devil Nation? Anyway, but I do feel bad for programs. All kidding aside, like stuff shouldn't have to be cut because somebody was irresponsible and doing that with the money. But nonetheless, I digress. More to Sun Devil stuff. But yeah, look at this. Oh, what's up, Low Tone Capone, my guy? Yeah, can you believe I was incensed all day yesterday? Not because that you sent that to me. I'm glad you sent that to me because I usually don't look for that stuff until like, I don't know, 2 weeks out of the season. I know in basketball, obviously with the tournament going on, Final Four here in Phoenix, it's hard to get away from, basketball, last four in, last four out every day. But yeah, my guy hooked me up, sent me that because I know I wouldn't have looked for it this early. So again, I appreciate that. But we'll get to how ASU baseball, and I'm grabbing my head and face like this because they're in the first four out, but I guess it's better to be in the first four out than completely out, not even being talked about at all. But the team they took 2 out of 3 from, that team down south, somehow is in, getting the benefit of the doubt from last year. And yes, they've won some games. Again, I've given the records, but we'll get to that. So we'll get to that. And ASU, again, they have work to do. We heard Willie Bloomquist. I played it yesterday for you. Played it Monday. And then I also had sound yesterday from Tuesday night's game. Like, yes, you're at the point now where, showing you can come back and win is good, but you got to stack wins. You're going to take on the number 5 team in the country this weekend. They are headed up to Coral Vallis. I want to say today. They might be on their way there now as we speak. But yeah, you got to beat the number. You got to take 2 out of 3 from the number 5 team, and that's just where they've put themselves. But yes, you do have to take it one game at a time. You can't fast forward and think of, oh well, if I do this now, what's it going to do Saturday or Sunday, right? We all know that. But ASU put themselves in a chance to play in. So Low Tone for you. Take a breath. I had to take a breath last night because I'm like, wait, this is why they put stuff out like this because a fanatic like me might go a little crazy. And yes, do I think ASU is a team been outside looking in with a lot of baseball left? Of course, because there's been some unfortunate losses that they shouldn't, maybe people feel they shouldn't have had. Again, there's always somebody across the line from you, across the field from you, punching you in the mouth, trying to get you to they're trying to dictate their tempo to you. So again, but we'll get to that. Yes, Latona, I took a breath, but but I want to show this clip again. Look at Keontae Bradley. I mean, look, you've heard me talk about the secondary. We've had Coach Ward here. Again, he missed the interviews. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can go check it out. Coach defensive coordinator Brian Ward talking about the experience of this secondary and what it can do, right? Like, again, hands excited, but that's the thing, like where, I don't need to have this on. Anyway, where, communication is so huge. And again, with all the shifts and motions that teams have and just, switching formation. So yeah, you talk about the offense getting a pre-snap read on the defense. Well, what's another great way to get that? Put a guy in motion, put a guy, put multiple guys, flex a formation out, have guys switch sides of the line. It's just all the window dressing and everything you can do to give yourself an advantage pre-snap on both sides of the ball. And, your Coach Dillingham pre-spring practice talking about disguising what you can do now, how like the growth you expect to see, especially a lot of these guys back, but their second year in the defense, but secondary wise. And so I want you to watch this Keontae Bradley interception in battles against challenge one-on-one. Coach Dillingham called it the main event last year, has been doing it since last season. And, you could have an offensive and defensive lineman playing receiver. You could also have them, blocking or, have a receiver and a DB line up like linemen and, see who can get the best of whatever, or, say, tight end. And although I would say tight end would do it, but like maybe a running back and a linebacker or something line up, not in their normal positions, but like, down linemen. So, Low Tone, the secondary. Anyway, I'm going to play this for you again, but I don't want to go off on tangent. But again, this is Keontae Bradley. Taking on Alphonse Bobon, talking about patterns and everything. But I'll let Marcus. look at this coverage. Place it. Look at the double move. There's the triple move. That's absolutely. The other guy maybe a little understand the hit. Very it was again patterns and everything. You saw those moves, and Keontae Bradley did not bite on that. So, man, again, the secondary is a buzz because of the experience. And I talked to one of those guys. We'll hear from him coming up in a little bit. Yep, blanket. Mason Williams, who is back from he's back in the secondary, young man, and man, love the way he plays. I mean, again, and I know I mentioned it, but I'm going to mention it again for you guys. Think of who they have coming back that played, that got on the field. Okay, well, he is coming back. He could only practice, but still, guys that are very familiar. So, but outside Xavier Alford, okay, back in the secondary. Mason Williams, Shamari Simmons. Sounding good so far. Ed Woods, yeah. Montana Warren, Keith Abney. Like, I keep going down, and you see these guys, and it's just like, wow. But I mean, what Shamari and Xavier Alford mean to this secondary, like, and then you get a guy like Keontae Bradley, who last year again in the rotation and took some lumps, but grew. And man, you see it in the coverage, and then you add guys like we've talked about Cole Martin, LaTerrence Welch, LT, like this young man. I think he had a pick six. Hit a pick six the other day on Tuesday. And I mean, but Keontae has got some interceptions. And I mean, and Rodney Bemage, who this young man, has been very, very impressive so far. And he is, he's a true freshman out of Houston, Texas. And so I think he's obviously here early, I want to say. I will clarify that tomorrow. But still, the way he's played, and you see these guys growing, I mean, again, you get a Montana Warren back. Like, it is a secondary that can just play off each other. And Coach Ward and Chris Cartman we talked about it on Monday. Like, it gives you so much more flexibility when guys are in installs, obviously, but in calling certain plays and getting certain coverages. Man, again, that is the very exciting part to this team today. And again, I love defense. I know Lotone knows that, and all my friends that know me know that I could watch a 17-10 game. It could be the best damn game of the year. And again, a 17-10 game can also be the worst game of the year. Just like a 55-49 game could be the best game of the year, but it also could be the most pathetic game of the year. See, again, both things can be true. I can be fair. But when it comes to defense, maybe not extremely that fair. But yeah, that was again, Keontae Bradley. Love seeing that young man do that. But yeah, we'll get to more spring ball, and then all right. So now I'm gonna talk about it. I'm still a little hurt by it. But the way to the early. The way too early, which Baseball America puts it out. And again, shout out to Lotone Capone for hitting me up with this. But and it is at the halfway point. So it did hit the halfway point. But again, I understand at the halfway, like you would see, but there's so much that could happen. Like, that's why if you get to the 3/4 point and this is out, then I'm giving it a little more credence. Again, a little more credence. But Baseball America puts out, as college season hit the halfway point, the road to Omaha, obviously College World Series, ASU has been to quite a few, but it's been about 4 or 5 minutes since they've been to Omaha, and we need to take the push to get back to Omaha. So their updated projected field of 64. In the first 4 out, though. Well, no, you know what? I will tell you the projected field of 64 as to Baseball America, where they show them. So for the regionals, so yeah. So yes, the 64. This is what they have in the field of 64. So they have Arkansas hosting a regional, and they have Arizona in that regional. I'll just go Pac-12 Rise again. There are teams in here, but Pac-12 wise, we have Arizona. That's in the Fayetteville regional. Then we have Oregon is the next team, who is in the Tallahassee regional, where Florida State would obviously host, right? Then we have, after Oregon, we have in the Tallahassee regional, like I said. So we got Arizona and Oregon so far. And then, not in the Pac-12, but Grand Canyon they have in the Greenville regional. But so we have Arizona and Oregon, and then Oregon State is hosting a regional. Again, they have them as the 6th ranked team, or the number 6 there for regionals. But Oregon State is the 3rd Pac-12 team, and then Utah is the 4th in the Nashville regional, and that is it from the Pac-12 right now. The last 4 in, though, Arizona's part of that last 4 in. So West Virginia, Campbell, Arizona, and Kansas, last 4 in. Guys want to know who's in the first 4 out? Low tone, I see that. I'll get to that in a second. First 4 out: Texas Tech, St. John's, Georgia Southern. Don't know a lot about Georgia Southern baseball. I know a good amount about multiple things, not Georgia Southern baseball, but I will see where they're at. And then the last of the first 4 out, Arizona State. So, okay, some bad losses they played themselves in. They could swap with Arizona, and maybe that team down south deserves to be in. But yeah, and then the next 4 out are Rutgers, Mississippi, Louisiana Tech, and Wichita State. So obviously Arizona State doesn't want to fall into that. You go win 2 out of 3, and again, it's just one series. You have to build off it, but I think they would overtake somebody in that last 4 in. And Loto, to your point, like how consistent of a baseball program they've built in Oregon State. They have. I mean, and I mentioned it a teeny bit yesterday, and I think you heard me say that. And again, I froze, so apologies. I don't know. Again, technology, and if it was my fault, believe me, I take the fault. I hate taking it, but it's my fault. But I don't know what happened. Everything was smooth, and then all of a sudden, it froze, and I got booted out of the studio, and my computer restarted. So, nonetheless, apologies. But I was talking about Oregon State when that happened, and just saying, like, from the mid-'90s, you could see at the late 90s, the early 2000s, they have just built a baseball, just phenomenal baseball powerhouse program. And I mean, they've plucked kids out of Arizona. And I say that because when, if ASU is struggling, a lot of these kids in the past that would have been here at ASU, Oregon State comes a knocking, and they have no problem, obviously offering kids earlier. That is one thing. There's some prep high school stuff, baseball I've covered throughout the years. And there's been freshmen and, even, going into their sophomore year, but like over that summer, like Oregon State, has an interest in him, verbally committed to him. And they verbal commit to Oregon State, and Oregon State obviously keeps up with them. And they have snagged quite a few talented kids that have done very well up there in Corvallis. So yeah, Low Tone, I am definitely with you on that, because they just keep doing it. And this is why, again, the demise of the Pac-12, you got to look out for your own school and this whole mess that is college sports. And you can thank the NCAA for a lot of that, but Oregon State kind of getting left out. That baseball team, and even what Mike Riley started there in football, you can win. And then Jonathan Smith bolted because there's no conference. Jonathan Smith, phenomenal coach. And I'm getting off tangent here, but at least it's kind of football, spring ball. We're kind of, we're weaving, right? Low Tone, we're bobbing and weaving. But yeah, for Oregon State baseball, it's a huge matchup this weekend. And look, I mean, there's no, like I said, no absolute bones about it, just due to the fact, that ASU, again, when we look at the baseball standings, again, conference standings huge, but ASU is at 6-6. Again, the sweep against Cal, huge. 5 in a row, even better. Got to keep building on that momentum. Now, is it going to be very tough to do in Corvallis? We do know this. Yes, we do. And softball, real quick, they have a tough one this weekend too. They're headed off to number 8 Stanford to take on the Cardinals. So yeah, when we look at it, so the 4 teams that they have in, Arizona's one of the last 4 in, but are the top 4 in the conference right now. So Oregon, Oregon State, Utah, and Arizona. No mention of USC. No, that's Utah. There was no unless here. Yeah, no mention of USC. Oh, that's where I got confused. There's South Carolina Upstate. It said SC Upstate. I'm like, what? Anyway, yeah. So no mention of SC, but they're 12-16 overall, but they're 6-5 in conference play. So Washington State, there's the other one that threw left. They are 6-6 as well. They're 16-11 overall. But yeah, you look at Oregon, who's 6-3 conference play, 20-7 overall. Oregon State 5-3 in conference play, 23-4 overall. And they just came off, back-to-back non-conference wins over Gonzaga. So yeah, I mean, this is huge for ASU. 6-6, 15-14 overall. Look, you take 2 out of 3, and you go, you're 8-7 in conference play, but then you're 17-15. That's a hell of a weekend if you can win the series from them. But it starts with this first Friday game. And I'll go pitching matchups because you heard Coach Bloomquist yesterday not going to have Burns this weekend. He's the Friday starter who has done absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, so that'll be a challenge, but I'll get to that in a minute. Also, like I said, softball has Stanford this weekend. Yeah, softball has Stanford this weekend. The number 8 team in the country. Gotta love that, right? And then water polo. They are home this weekend. Again, the 21-6 Lady Devils in the water. They are home this weekend, and they take on Indiana in a again, I know I use a little far away, but with water polo, it is a conference game. And they are number 10 in the country, by the way. Yeah, they are number 10 in the country, and they are welcoming the Hoosiers this Saturday. Like I said, so you can get on out there. You also have a chance to check out some women's lacrosse. Again, just both of these are as awesome, and that's just because it's an Olympic. I know an Olympic year, like a lot of these sports which are featured. I mean, the battles are insane. So yes, number 10 Ottawa, 1 p.m. this Saturday at the Mona Plummer Aquatic Center. It'll be on the ASU live stream as well. But get on out there if you can. 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon, nice. You're by the water, sun's out, all that good stuff. They play at 1, again, number 20 in the country. And if you haven't seen Luca Petavari play, you are missing out because she has scored at a just – I mean, she's up for the award for National Player of the Year. I mean, they've outscored their opponents 381 to 203. Think about that, even in losing. So, I mean, they've outscored their opponents by 178 goals. Yeah. So, I mean, again, the dominance there. But Luca Petavari, she has scored 116 goals this season in 27 games. Yeah, you can do the math, right? I mean, look, in water polo games, but if you're getting, say 5 goals a game, that's, say you're getting three goals a game. She's outdoing that because, I mean, in 27 games, she would have had 81. She's had 116 goals. Oh, and by the way, not selfish with the ball either. I mean, yes, she is their very gifted, talented, phenomenal, amazing scorer, but she's got 27 assists, so 143 points to lead the team on the season. Millie Quinn, who has 64 goals. She's second on the team. She has 38 assists. She's second in assists on the team, but 102 points for her. First in assists is Lara Kiss, who has 10 goals, but 39 dimes. So they're an exciting team to watch. Water polo, again, I had a roommate in college that was from San Diego, Brett. He played water polo in high school. I mean, and he would I know play like Club Pure Rec, but he would go and play here, and I watched. I was like, man, I was just watching the games. The underwater cam in the Olympics is crazy because like the contact you see, and yes, it could be tedious by calling everything. I understand that, but I will say this, like it is one of those things where when you watch it, it is a huge admiration because a lot of people will have dead legs. I will get to that, Low Tone, about Willie and managing the team hitting a wall. And I think it'd be pretty tough to hit a wall. I'm going to leave you on that tease. As we say in the industry, right? I forgot my hat. I'm going crazy. I need my pitchfork hat for pitchfork lunch. My goodness. Anyway. Oh wait, I won't show all of this, but look, here's a pitchfork. We got a pitchfork. I put it right there. No, I'm just kidding. Bad humor. But I will get to that. But I'm going to step aside real quick, and when I get back, we are going to hear from Coach Dillingham and one of the returners in the secondary. Guy I love catching up with is Mason Williams. We'll catch up with Mason Williams too, because again, he is a young man that looks to have a obviously big part in this secondary. And like I said, with all these guys, they can get their reps and everything, but less is more. And I asked him about that. So we'll step aside and we will have more Pitchfork Lunch coming up. And we'll also hear from Coach Dillingham. So don't go too far. Oh, yes. Welcome back to Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Cartino at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as the Twitter. Yes, without my hat. I know. Please, low tone, protect me. No, I'm just kidding. I know you can send a thing. I don't have my hat. I was out at spring ball, driving to spring ball, and looked over, and I didn't have my hat. Not on and not sitting next to me. So nonetheless, it happens. But we are back here. I am back here on Pitchfork Lunch again as we talk everything ASU. And what is wrong with that? Absolutely nothing. Hello. We know this. So, but I did promise you we would hear from Coach Dillingham, and we're going to hear from him in a second. But I wanted to get to Mason Williams first because, like I said, this young man coming back had a heck of a season last year. Just grew, and I mean the speed and him working with Ed Woods. I did mention Ed Woods before, but I mean you got Mason Williams back, you got Ed Woods back, you got Shamari Simmons back, Xavier and Alford. Like I said, I know I've said it a million times, but not playing, but still practicing every day. He ran scout team stuff, but he was over there with the defense, with Coach Ward in the room, like mentally staying locked in and working out with Jake Smith, as we learned. So I can't wait to talk to Xavier and Alford. Maybe I'll get him on Saturday. But we will see. We'll see. We got good stuff coming. But yeah, but Mason Williams, again, just another key in that secondary that is just, again, absolutely huge. So I don't I always love catching up with them. Love catching up with them. And I did just that. But yeah, this young man had a heck of a season last year, and again, only looks better. Just looks again, and he talks about it. I'll let him tell you stuff I asked him, but but yeah, Mason Williams has just done he has just done, again, a phenomenal job. One of those leaders in the secondary amongst many, and the communication is just it's just, again, awesome. And I try and get out a lot from practice as much as I can, but a lot of times I was watching and, actually paying attention like I learned how to do in school here, unlike some other schools, right, Low Tone? But yeah, so without further ado, here is Sun Devil defensive back Mason Williams. Mason, obviously second year in Coach Ward's system. Obviously last year was tough, but the defense, I mean, you guys, and I mean, a lot of your teammates said it. I know you said it. Like the coaches had the energy and the passion all through last season, and you guys brought it, even though it was a tough season. But now, fast forwarding to the spring, how do you feel these first five practices with the defense have gone?
So just from Coach Ward's perspective, he said this is the fastest he's seen the new guys get it, just in terms of install and running on the first day. So it seems like we're just focusing on the details, trying to make sure everything is right, especially getting with the new guys, making sure they're getting all the little details right and just working together.
And before I get to the new guys, obviously the defensive line, there's some growth there. I mean, Clayton had that big catch last week. First of all, what'd you think of the catch that he did on the main event there?
I did not know he had it in him. Yeah, it was a great catch.
So, all right, so you're not worried about him though lobbying to play receiver though, are you?
I don't know about that. I think he got one target last year. Yeah, I don't know. You can give him a chance though.
I like it. No, but okay, you touched on the new guys. Obviously, somebody like a Cole Martin comes in another year. I mean, obviously with you and Keith and Montana and Shamari, and even though Xavier couldn't play last year, but practicing. How do you feel that these new guys have caught on to Coach Ward's system and what he wants to do because of the experience you have and how you can help them out and teach them on the field?
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like there's no selfishness within the secondary. Everybody is trying to help each other out, get them caught up to speed. So it's no selfishness. We all trying to get better. We all need the depth. So if one of us goes down, we just want to make sure the next guy's ready to go. And I fully believe everybody can play. Especially the guys you just named. I feel like they're all gonna be able to play this year.
And then with the new guys, I mean, how do you feel that like LT and Cole Martin have fit in, and what kind of skill set do they bring to the team?
They are making plays. I feel like LT and Cole just showed how much instinct they have in the game of football. You know, they make plays every single day. You seen Cole just disrupted the screen real good. LT had a pick 6 yesterday. So, you know, these guys are making plays. They coming in and making a statement. And I just feel like we need those big plays, you know.
And speaking of interceptions, it looks like Keontae has had a few snatching the ball in the air more.
I feel like Keontae, just solely based off talent, is the most talented kid on the team. Wow. Just solely based off talented. So I know it's a lot of people sleeping on him a little bit, but once he get caught up, oh man, like he's a different player for sure.
And obviously,
it's no surprise. It's no surprise to the team. You know?
Yeah, I mean, and again, he showed again, just getting you. So he showed flashes last year, but on top of that, obviously, as a competitor and a player, you want to play. But do you subscribe to like, my theory is less is more, because you can have a rotation in the secondary, a very solid one, but when you look at that, you don't have to be on the field for 60, 70, 80 plays. How much does that help the defense with the secondary as well?
I feel like just most players, it's good to have a reset. So it's good to, like, you could have like 2 drives, bring somebody in for a reset, you know, because sometimes the game get a little long and it's hard to focus in on those details. So when you get new guys in with fresh mindsets, fresh legs, you know, it's going to help everybody out a lot. So it's real important for those guys to get caught up to speed and be ready to go.
And then obviously defense, about communication. Like I said, the second year now in the system, but from the D-line to you guys back in the secondary, how do you feel that, you know, this early in spring, that the communication and the chemistry is growing?
We made an emphasis on everybody talking to each other, making sure we all communicate. So, you know, whether I'm talking to the D-line, linebacker, and safety, and, you know, all of the above, we just making sure everybody knows, like, we're on the same page. So everybody's just being on the same page, having communication. Everybody knows what we're doing. Mm-hmm.
And then from focusing on the D-line, I mean, what have you seen? I mean, obviously having a D-line that can get there. And last year, I mean, you guys were obviously competitive in a lot of games. I mean, getting pressure and stuff up front, but having a D-line that has a chance to be that dominant, what does it do for you guys in the secondary?
It just puts us in the mindset, like, we know that if we cover long enough, it's either we gonna get a cover sack or they're just gonna, you know, make a play. So I just feel like when you have a dominant D-line, it just opens up opportunities for takeaways.
And then I've been asking everybody this, so who's the best Madden player on the team? Because I know you have competition, but who's the best Madden player?
I solely believe it is me. A lot of people think maybe Navi.
Okay. A
lot of people probably gonna say Navi if you ask them. I solely believe it's me.
Now, have you squared off against Navi?
I haven't played Navi. That's the thing. I haven't played Navi.
All right. So he's ducking you. A quarterback's ducking you.
I don't know if he's ducking. I just haven't got a chance to play. But if you ask Coach Dillingham who won when I played him. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So ask him.
Love it. Gotta have a little fun with him. But yeah, best Madden player on the team. Now I'm gonna have to ask Coach Dillingham that tomorrow, because I talked to Mason after Coach Dillingham spoke. But yeah, you heard him right there. I mean, just you know, with what the defensive line can do, he's very confident that they can actually, if need be, earn the defensive line some covered sacks, and the defense can also earn them some interceptions by just getting there, making the quarterback step up and throw it, you know, early to where he doesn't want to. So they can play off each other. Again, linebacker wise, team's coming along well. Obviously, Coach Cooper working with the linebackers. But yeah, you're mentioning like there. I mean, you talk about obviously, you know, getting a guy like, you know, and then Keontae Bradley. I wanted to say the saying he's probably the best athlete on the team. And man, you just see the length there. And I'm not calling him, you know, Roe Torrance again. He's got to put in the work, and he has. And Keontae Bradley has been awesome. That's right. It was a humble brag, but no, because Coach Dillingham, real quick, he said, because Coach Dillingham pre-spring ball, and I played it for you guys here. Remember, he said that Navi was probably the best Madden player, and you know, he's been doing pretty well in the tournament, so they haven't had a chance to square off yet. But hey, who knows? Maybe I could bring some of the highlights of that. I gotta see if I can talk to Navi and Mason if they're going to play. And I can, I'm not saying broadcast it live, but, just, broadcast some of it, not give away their secrets and see who comes out on top. So, but yeah, you heard Mason Williams right there. I mean, that's just, again, absolutely awesome. But I mean, again, and that's why I asked him, his last morning, he's like, yeah, you get that chance to reset, as a defensive back, game, long or some drives, maybe, they end, but it's just we talk about it with the D line, being fresh, being able to attack. Well, yeah, they can have that opportunity, in the secondary, because look, the D line, they're coming along. They are definitely coming along. So, but yeah, we will now hear from let's hear from Coach Dillingham as he spoke after practice today. Caught up to him again, kind of quick as we get more into it. Again, defense today, but again, in full pads, by the way, everybody, in full pads, which is absolutely awesome. So without further ado, though, here is Sun Devil head coach Kenny Dillingham.
I have no clue.
Coach, what have you seen from some of the second-year players, Kyson Brown, Keith Abney, Montana Warren, through the first couple weeks?
Just growth. They're better. They don't make the rookie mistakes. They play with a little bit more consistency. You don't – sometimes when you're young, you don't know what you're going to get when they come out here. A little bit more consistency in just what you're going to get from them.
Second day in full pads, how do you feel, run game, run defense? How's it been shaping up?
Yeah, I mean, today the O-line went out there and we what's that hat? We ran the damn ball, right, or that shirt. It was quite evident. And defense, on the contrary, we got to stop the damn run. And I think that was the challenge. Is I didn't think the energy level was there from the defense, especially the front four, the box guys early. And I think it showed up at the end of practice, but I don't think we had that same passion, energy that we had in the prior practice.
It's a noticeable contrast to like last last spring with the O-line and some of the physicality and the energy. It seems like. What have you seen there?
Yeah, I mean, one, you got to have size, so you got to recruit to size. You can't really coach size. You can't coach somebody to become a heavyweight when he's a welterweight. That's challenging, right? So if you're going to play in the heavyweight division, you better be big enough to be a heavyweight. And then combine that with, we tried to recruit multipliers. We tried to recruit, when you say the energy piece, guys who make people around them better, not guys that divide and make people around them worse. So, we turned some guys down this year that, I wasn't fired up. That would be a multiplier for our team. And I think there's times throughout the practice and the day that you see some of the guys and some of the new guys, you can see that mindset of they're a multiplier. And their energy makes somebody else around them better. And, we didn't always have that in the past. So it's good to see those guys kind of come out and multiply and make people around them better.
And Coach, what offensive lineman stood out to you in terms of run blocking today?
I'd be lying if I gave you one name. Leaf is just the veteran leader of that group. I'm glad he's here. I had him select an award to be representative of what a Sun Devil is. He's a great person. He's a hard worker. He's smart. He's high academic. He's tough. He's reliable. He's so many things that you want your entire football team to be, and for that guy to be our center, for that guy to be, the focal point of our offensive line is a really good starting point from a leadership standpoint.
What needs to change about the defense going into Saturday just to end the week strong in this one?
Mindset. They came out, first day in pads, and they had a mindset that we're going to kick your ass. But I don't know if I can say ass. I don't know if that's a cuss word. I'm going to kick your butt. But today, they didn't have that dog in them. The dog wasn't there. And like I told them after practice, football is one of the simplest games that coaches complicate. At the end of the day, if I know who I'm blocking and I win that block, we score or you stop us. Such a simple game, right? And if you don't come out, you don't have that mindset that this is a one-on-one fight. Once we figure out who my one-on-one is, it is a fight to the death. Right? If you don't have that mindset, then you're going to wind up on the other end of it. And I think today the offensive line had that mindset. You saw it on the third down play in the red zone when the O-line came and sprinted to push the pile. Where was the defense? You can't, that's something that's got to be habitual. It's got to be who you are. It's got to be your identity. And we had that the other day. We didn't have it today. And we got to figure out how to get that on both sides of the ball every day. And even though we're getting better, we're nowhere near where I want to be.
And you heard it right there. I mean, again, and look, each side of the ball can have their day. And offense to that, he said, the defense came out first day full pass, so we're going to kick your ass and set the tone. And they did her. But like he said, he retracted, but it's okay. We'll let Coach can say that. He's fired up about it. But the offensive line, I mean, the run blocking and, out of practice, talking in front of the program, Chris Cartman, he was saying that the run blocking, I mean, again, second day in full pads, but even when they just had shoulder pads on, I mean, the run blocking has been looking pretty good. As we say, knock on wood, this team stays healthy. And this team, healthy, and they can develop depth, and guys can come in and go back and forth. Yeah, it's exciting. And after Saturday, though, so Monday, we'll talk again. It'll be 2 full weeks of spring practice. Saturday will cap it. So Monday, and we'll talk quarterbacks and what we've seen out there. Again, Coach announced it, but I've talked about Jaden Rashad is out there, doing stuff, but not throwing yet. Had the thumb surgery, and they're just going, But by the end of towards the end of spring ball, Coach is saying they're aiming to have him do, individuals and stuff, no team stuff. Don't want to, throw and aggravate it. And obviously in spring practice, even though, you don't touch the quarterback, guys get close, you fall through again. But I'm very excited to see him, Jaden Rashada, get back on the field. The confidence that he exuded last year, you could, in talking to him, you could feel, it was a learning curve, to overstate the obvious, but it also, is very huge for him because, like I said, they, it's a learning experience, but getting the mental reps. I mean, look, yes, you have to be able to read it and make the throw and be, taking live fire, right? The live rounds, as they say. But the mental reps in this game is so huge, and being obviously in the film room with Coach Arroyo, and when Coach Dillingham pops by, but being in the quarterback room and then being out on the field and just taking it's just a snap, drop back, and he's reading it from behind who's ever taken the snap. So, or playing quarterback. So I'm excited for him to get back there, but we'll talk more quarterbacks on Monday. Again, wanted it to go a full 2 weeks, and Saturday again is scrimmage. So we will talk quarterbacks on Monday, but I'm going to step aside real quick. And when we get back, I will again talk a little bit more baseball. Loton, I'll answer your question about Willie and managing the team this far, because I, like I said, if you've seen post game, it's the passion, the want, the desire, all is brewing within Coach, and you can tell. And being an alum, I think that gets amplified even more by people. But having played here under obviously legendary Coach Pat Murphy, it gets amplified more. But we'll take a quick break, and I will answer that on the other side. So stay tuned for more Pitchfork Lunch. And we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as Twitter. So glad you all could join me today. Again, we talked a little bit of football, talk a little bit of baseball, softball. Oh, speaking of football, before we transition to baseball, I want to show you some awesome stuff. Actually, no, you know what? We'll end on that because I'm almost out of here. We'll end on that. You get some more cool stuff from practice today. The guys that are down in the trenches. To say the least. Yes, I did forget my hat. I know. So earlier, our guy, Low Tone, asked, how do you think Willie is managing the team this far? Thought they might be hitting a wall. No, I really don't think they're hitting a wall. I actually think they're just starting to hit their stride. And I'll say this to you, Low Tone, because, if you've seen you've heard a lot of the sound, you've seen and heard a lot of the sound I played from Willie talking about accountability and guys, holding each other accountable. Like, yes, the coaches do it. He's not saying that him and his other coaches don't have that responsibility. They do, obviously, but players doing it. He said when he played under Pat Murphy, like if you weren't, there's having fun, but fun is, being ready to, do your job. And obviously, like you say, passing the bat or, playing good defense, not kicking it over, making that, gathering yourself, making that crisp throw, making the right play. And if you weren't, and he said, I played it in post game. You might have a guy that one of your teammates that kind of, took you off the side, grabbed you by the neck and said, hey, this is happening to you because you're not doing this, and this. Accountability to each other, accountability to yourself, but to the team. And, Harris Williams said it great the other day, Low Tone, after the win against Grand Canyon. Like, baseball, it's like when he said we're doing stuff better, we're doing the same things. He goes, that's the odd thing about baseball, because he said, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Well, they're doing those things, but he said we're doing them better. They're taking, that step forward. And I think, Willie's message, and again, he's not always up there yelling and yelling and yelling, because as a coach, as a player, parents, children, we all know, like you can for so long, but then it's in one ear out the other, or worse yet, it becomes, Charlie Brown's old teacher. For you youngsters, look up Charlie Brown and his teacher, because all you ever heard was wah, 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 wah. That's what it would be. Willie wants that accountability from guys to step up, take that leadership roles. Because there are guys that lead by example. People see what they do, how they go about their work, and yes, having fun with it, but doing their work. So yeah, I again don't think hitting a wall at all. And he even mentioned it one of the post games, his post game pressers, about to stay off and having this, and feeling that almost it was you're at the next level, you don't really get any days off. So that's the balance. And again, he's not saying it should be, like, a major league thing, but guys want to get to the next level. And we know from this storied baseball, the storied university, baseball has put out a ton of phenomenal players, through each decade, for the longest time. I mean, when, when Jim Brock was coaching, then you get like Pat Murphy, and there are guys that were here, coaches that were awesome. And I mean, I remember getting to talk with Pat Murphy when I was in school here too. So, and Willie obviously played for him. So it's the accountability thing, but I don't think it's a hitting a wall thing. And yeah, I mean, with pitchers and stuff this day and age and how they're treated. And, I think that I'm not being the old curmudgeon guys, but, pitchers, yes, you want to keep their, you want to keep their arms fresh, and you want to keep their arms fresh, but at the same time, like, if a guy's got it, like, a starter's got it. And again, you got to think about the whole season, but it comes to training. How did guys, in the 50s, 60s, okay, you want to take away the 50s and 60s, but the 70s, into the 80s and even into the early 90s, how did these guys, I mean, Nolan Ryan was a freak of nature. And I know a lot of you baseball junkies know that. Low Tone, I trust in Willie too. But you look at these pitchers, Nolan Ryan being a freak of nature, look him up. I mean, because of how pitchers pitch, no one will ever touch some of his records. They say records are made to be broken, and you should never say never. Dude, absolutely not. I mean, I would put more on somebody getting to DiMaggio's 56 game hitting streak, which is insane. And I'd even because more people have flirted with it, right? I'd even take guys that Ted Williams is 406, but Willie's talking. That's what Willie's talking about. Like, it's just, you have to have that accountability that players have to do, because coaches are you're working with somebody, and yeah, you have eyes everywhere, but you have eyes in certain areas. You're working with somebody, but make sure somebody's doing a drill right. Make sure they have that accountability in the weight room. Oh man, I gotta put this up. Of course, Robin Ventura, man. Ventura thinks he's going to go out there and attack an old man. And I'm sure even little kids have seen that highlight, because most baseball fights are a joke, but you weren't going to go square up on Nolan Ryan and not get beaten low tone. That is epic. That is epic. But yeah, no, for Willie Bloomquist, I mean, it is that mentality. And yes, can you take some of that mentality and have it evolve and evolutionize? Yes. But again, the days off, but players, again, it's not being vindictive or mean. You're doing this for the team. Hold each other accountable. Somebody's not doing it, go up there. Hey, no, stop doing it like this. Work on it. Do it like this. Take this step, whatever, in your swing. Like, you see the pitchers doing that. And that's what Willie was talking about. And, to Harris Williams' point, and guys staying ready, Key and Vu, one of the best attitudes ever. Of course he wants to start. Of course Key and Vu wants to be in the lineup every day. You have, like Willie said, you have a crowded outfield. We do this in the fall. And then when spring semester started, we were out at baseball, brought you that stuff. We heard it then. It is a crowded, talented outfield. But Key and Vu being called on, whether he's pinch hitting late, staying relaxed, but he's going to get more at-bats. I mean, it's – guys like Eamon Williams, I'm thinking of Harris Williams. Either way, but like Ethan Mendoza. That's what I was saying. Ethan Mendoza too. Like, guys just getting hits. Like, Steve Ondina, but Tobias had a night off the first year, night came in and pinch hit though. And it's one of those things where you need to be ready, but Key Vu exudes that. Just, it amplifies with him, and he has a great attitude. When he gets out there, he does a hell of a job. I mean, he had a diving catch against Southern Utah. Was it Southern Utah the first night? And diving catch to end the game. And then the play at third the other night against Grand Canyon. I mean, the ball, it hit the top of it hit the wall and came back. It didn't hit out, because I think I mentioned this the other day. I was sitting next to the guy running the replay in the press box, and I'm not talking to him about him, but I can look over at the screen. It hit the top of the wall, spun back, and Key and Vu said, he said he closed his eyes and threw the ball, but yeah, I don't think he closed it. He delivered a lace to Ondina at short on the relay. I mean, from deep, center field, right center, and laced it to Ondina, who then laced it home, and laced it to third. Oh yeah, and then just sent it over not to the home to third base, and got the out at third base. That was huge. And then the runs that they got. So Key and Vu, that attitude, and maybe he's not the most vocal, but that is a lead by example. So I don't think they're hitting a wall, like I said. And there's a lot of coaches, again, they're very good at what they do. They're good coaches. But there's coaches when they talk and you hear it, you're around them. If you can't get motivated to play for Willie Bloomquist, like, check your pulse. That's all I got on that one. So, but yeah, so tomorrow, same bad time, same bad. We'll be a little bit earlier because spring practice tomorrow. They go every other day. So, we'll be on at noon. I will preview a little bit more of softball, like I said, because they got number 8 Stanford, Sun Devil Nation. That is a huge, huge matchup, because standings-wise, they definitely need this as well. So, yes, we will talk softball. I will preview that a little bit more as they head to Stanford, the Palo Alto area, and take on the Cardinal. So, and then water polo, like I said, Indiana on Saturday at 1. Lacrosse is home at noon on Saturday as well. So I will touch on that more, again, a little bit more to lacrosse, and working on guests too. I got an awesome guest scheduled for next week, but again, not dropping it yet, because, hey, You got to tune in. You'll find out when, and you'll find out who. But I'll put that a little bit early. But yeah, I got some guests coming up and working on it and more spring sports going. So again, one man band on it, but I love you guys being here. Anything's again, hit me up in the comments at Glowtone. Hit me up on X at Diablo00 again, where you see the show every day. My IG, Michael.Carafino.5. And guys, lastly, again, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you haven't done it, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you miss any shows, any sound, anything, especially interviews, more that we'll have. Oh, and by the way, the volleyball schedule came out. The women's volleyball schedule came out for next year. So I want to tell you real quick, they actually have a ASU tournament in the first month of the season. Since Coach Van Neal had some time to get a schedule. Pardon me. So here it is. They open up real quick. I'm just going to get to this real quick. I'll make a graphic of it and put it up. But Jelly Sear, Claire Jeter, Mary Schroll going to be back. But they open up at the Lipscomb tournament, which is in Nashville. Then they go to San Diego Kids for the San Diego tournament, which is September 6th through September 8th. Might be a good chance, to hop over to San Diego to check them out. Just saying. And then they have the Nebraska tournament, which is in Lincoln, and that is awesome that Coach Van Neal has them going there. Obviously, a team program of Nebraska, it's come up. Obviously, they won't see Texas going to the Big 12, but that's September 12th through September 14th in Lincoln, Thursday through Saturday. And then they start conference play Wednesday, they have the ASU tournament. Sorry, the home tournament, September 19th through 21st. So here in Tempe, again, be able to check them out. I will look for the teams that they're playing too. But yes, I will get this up because, Mojo to Volleyball, love Coach Van Neal, the program, players he's got come back, players he's brought in too. Got a little bit to talk about there. But then they open up conference play on the road in Texas. They're at TCU. On Wednesday, September 25th, and at Baylor. I won't read the rest of the dates. Then they're home for Utah and BYU, and that team down south comes here October 9th. Guys, put that on your calendar now. October 9th, Wednesday, October 9th. I don't like to fast forward, that, but I will bring my hat tomorrow. Thanks, Low Toad. October 9th, Arizona here. So BYU, then Arizona, and then they go to take on Texas Tech, and they come home for Houston and Colorado, and then they go down to Tucson to take on that team down south on October 24th. Put those on your calendar because, guys, road trip it. It is worth it to dominate that team. The beauty of it. So they go to Arizona, then on Halloween, they're at BYU. And then November 2nd, they're at Utah. And then they come home for the Kansas schools. They have Kansas and Kansas State, and then they go on the road for West Virginia and Cincinnati. Then they have Iowa State at home, hit the road for Colorado November 23rd, and then Friday, November 29th, they close out against UCF here in Tempe. So, again, wanted to read it to you real quick. I know a lot to digest. I will put up a graphic of it and have it. Again, follow me at Diablo00 on X. I will put it up. I retweeted it already, but I will put it up because, again, got to get out. This, again, another phenomenal program going to the Big 12, seeing who they can compete with there and get that 0.00001% of the Pitchfork Lunch mojo. So Anyway, that is that. I'm going to get out of here. Yes, Lotone, I will bring my hat tomorrow. Thank you. I know, terrible, my pitchfork hat, but I made it. Somehow I made it. Everybody have a great rest of your Thursday. I will see you tomorrow. Obviously, Final Four coming up this weekend. If you still have brackets, you know what? Hey, good for you. Personally, I don't care because I went from second and third in brackets to dead last because of the Sweet 16 and where we're all at. So good for you. I could care less. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Everybody have a great rest of your day. I'll leave you with a little bonus spring practice here at the end. But yes, as always, you know it. I will see you tomorrow. But Sun Devil Nation, keep it going and forks up.
Hey! Hey! Come on! Get it down! Get it down back up! Act like you lift some weights! You ain't got to rush to it. Recoil with violence. Recoil with violence. Hey! Hey! Release! Hey, but make sure we still get at our hips. Don't feel like Hey! Yeah! Ah, come on, Jacob! Hey, yeah! Yeah! Hey! Hey! Yes! There it is! There it is! Get it big.
Cherry's three. Johnny Walker. Matching up against control. His shot. Bruce score. They score. They tie the game up 2-2. Some drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse. Wow. 5 seconds to go. Find Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls off. And Arizona State wins it. Edwards pulls off. And buries the
Daniels takes the shot.